Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me on day 12 of our self-care yoga journey or challenge. My name's Lindsay and I will be your yoga instructor for today. And I just want to give you a big shout out wherever you are viewing this at home. Maybe you're visiting your parents. Hopefully you're keeping safe and socially distancing where you need to. But I so appreciate you making me and these videos part of your daily life or your weekly routine. I hope that they've been additive. Let's find our way to lay down without me talking too much. And that's where we'll go over today's theme. So find your way to your back on your mat. Of course, like always, just grab whatever equipment you need, whether that's blocks, books, straps, whatever you feel like you need to make this practice a little bit more enjoyable. Let's take the feet about hip distance apart. Knees can be up towards the ceiling. Like always, let's just take a moment here to check in on the quality of your breath. You can wiggle out the legs, sway the knees side to side. Option to draw the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a nice big hug. I really want this to be all about you and what you need in this moment. So today's theme on day 12 of our self-care yoga journey is all about going with the flow, maybe. It's all about flexibility, softening those edges where you don't need to hold any more tension. We'll be using the element of water here today to inspire us in our movement, being inspired by its fluidity, the way that it moves, almost seamlessly, right? If it helps, you can think about a stream, some kind of flowing body of water to almost inspire and encourage your movement. But another element that I love about when I think about water, just as a visual and metaphorical idea, is the idea that it expands to whatever body it encompasses, right? So where in your life can you be more fluid, maybe more flexible, but also where can you be more expansive? Where can you soften? These are all ideas that I think are so important in the context that we're living in. As much as strength, rigidity, stubbornness are important flaws, important things. I don't think that they're flaws, although some people do. I think that those are important characteristics in some circumstances and in some contexts. Where in your life would those not serve you? And where would being more flexible to soften, where would that serve you better in your life? Maybe just ponder those questions as we start to move on our mat. If you haven't already, let's draw the knees in towards the chest. Open the eyes if your eyes were shut, and wrap the forearms around the shins. Let's just sway side to side here. Feel the back into the ground. There's no really wrong or right way to do this, so know that. No judgment if your position here, your knees to chest pose looks different than mine. Just find some movement that feels good for your body. Maybe circling out the legs, drawing little circles in the spine, and then taking those circles in the opposite direction. You can always point one foot at a time, maybe roll out the ankles. When you're ready, let's draw the right knee in towards the chest, extend the left leg long, compress the hip here, and then maybe just move that knee side to side, almost like a little window shield wiper in your car. And again, you can always take this into more circular motions. So our hip flexors and our hips, where our thigh bone connects into the actual hip joint, is a ball and socket joint. So let's move into that full range of motion here. Be expansive with your movement. Let's take it to the second side, right leg long. Left knee draws into the chest. Just interlace your fingers around the shin. Find those side to side movements, and then maybe if you did so on the first side, take it into the circles. Making sure to take it in one direction a few times and then switch direction of the circles here. Maybe starting to tap into your Ujjayi breath, your ocean breath, very apt in this class. Breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And when you exhale, think about almost like you're trying to fog up a window. Draw the knees into the chest one more time, breathe in. And as you exhale, find your way up to a seated position just for a moment. Thread the legs through, coming into our all fours tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees stacked under hips. Let's start with some simple cat and cows. Try to be as fluid in the spine as possible. As you drop the belly, lift the tailbone, look up. Let's breathe in expansively through the chest, through the belly. As you exhale, push the ground away, round through the spine, tuck the tailbone down. So contract the core when you're doing this as well. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Maybe the tailbone lifts as well. Exhale, reverse that. Draw the tummy in, push the ground away with energy. Feel the mat underneath your fingertips. Now you can move, keep going like that. You can take any kind of other motions you'd like here. Maybe drawing little circles in the shoulders to stretch out the wrists. And of course, we always know we need to reverse the direction of those circles to keep it even. Just whatever movement you want here, trust yourself to make that decision. Intuitively, what is your body craving you to do here? What feels the best? Keep going like that. We'll take one more breath cycle, one more inhale, one more exhale wherever you are. And then we'll send the hips back, extend the arms, rest the forehead down into your child's pose. If the seat doesn't touch the heels, that's okay, you're still warming up. This is quite an intense stretch for the hips, for the back, for the shoulders. So we'll be working through some cat and cow kind of motions and coming back to tabletop position, just encouraging, the fluidity of the spine a little bit more. So when you're ready, let's breathe into our tabletop position, right away into our cow pose, arching through the back, lifting the gaze. As you exhale, round through the spine and then start to send the hips back, coming into your child's pose. Keep going like that. Breathing in to shift forward, arching through the back, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. As you exhale, round through the spine, push the ground away and send the hips energetically back towards the heels. We'll do 2 more on your own time. Really working with your breath, no rush here. And no, if at any point in this practice you start to lose your breath, that's okay. Try to come back to it. And if it comforts you at all to know your body intuitively knows how to breathe. So if you find, you're getting lost, what do we do? When do we inhale? When do we exhale? That's fine. Don't worry about it. Your body will keep breathing. Let's take a moment into this child's pose. Maybe setting a personal intention for this practice. And on your inhale, let's shift forward into our tabletop position one more time. Tuck the toes, start to lift the hips up and back. Let's take our first downward facing dog of this practice. I'd really encourage some movement here into the hamstrings, bending one knee at a time, lifting one heel at a time, maybe shaking the head yes and no. Whatever movement that is calling you, know that it's perfectly normal. And oftentimes really encouraged to keep the knees bent and the heels lifted in our downward dog. I'd rather that to happen than you to overly round through the spine and take tension into the back and the shoulders. Where do you feel the ground underneath you? Notice if the L shape of the hands, so that's the index finger and the thumb, are lifting. Try to plant them down. Let's take one more inhale, one more exhale here. Try to slow that breath down. Try to find some stillness just for a moment. When you're ready, let's inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky, keep the hips square, keep the legs straight. There's a lot going on in this movement. Know that you can always come down into a tabletop version of this with the right leg lifted. Try not to open up the hip just yet. Just feel this into the glutes, into the hamstrings. Now let's open up the hip, bend the knee, draw the heel into the seat. You can stay still or you can add some circle rolls into the hip. And again, know that you can always do this in a tabletop position with the left knee down to the ground. Make sure to switch the directions of the circle and the hips. And settle back into stillness just for one more inhale, one more exhale. Can you get that heel a little closer to the seat? Can you keep the shoulders squared? Re-extending the leg, straightening it off, squaring the hip, and then taking it back down. Let's pedal out the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts, and then settle into some stillness here before we come for the second side. Let's breathe in, lift the left leg up, keep the hips squared, keep the leg straight just to start. Notice any differences from one side to the other. Squeeze the left glute to lift the leg a little bit higher. And when you're ready, let's open up the hip, bend the knee, draw the heel to the seat. You're squeezing both seat muscles here. The right one to support you as you stand on that foot. And the left one to draw that heel closer to the seat. If you did so on the first side, let's add those little circles into that ball and socket joint of the hip a few times in one direction and then the other. And when you're ready, you can come back into that stillness, drawing the heel close to the seat, bending the knee up towards the sky. Let's take another breath in. One more exhale. Re-extend the leg, straightening it off, squaring the hip, bring that foot back down. Now know that we can always work for this next exercise in its first variation. So working into that first kind of exercise that we did from tabletop to child's pose, making little waves with the spine. So you can go there if you know that that felt good enough for you. Or you can follow me, starting to roll through the spine, shift forward into your plank pose. And when you get there, let's start to bend the knees, send the hips up and back, coming back into our downward dog. Breathing in, rounding through the spine, shifting forward, undulate the spine like one wave at a time. And exhale, bend the knees, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few more on your own breath, as slow as you want, as feels good. And if this is just too much, again, you can come into our child's pose tabletop variation of it. Let's take one more. I'll meet you back up in downward facing dog when you're ready. Our Adho Mukha Shavasana. One more time, let's breathe in, reach the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, draw that knee in towards the chest, step the foot through. Take the left knee down. Let's hold it here into a runner's lunge just for a moment. Hands can always come to blocks. Really think about squeezing the inner thighs together, drawing the right hip back. Let's breathe in, reach the arms up towards the sky. Keep taking the tailbone down towards the ground, squeezing the seat. Exhale, maybe soften a little lower to the ground. Inhale one more time. Exhale, right hand comes down to the knee, left arm stays up towards the sky. Maybe taking a little baby back bend here if that feels okay for the back. Inhaling and exhaling as you do this. Let's take a little side body stretch, coming over to the right side. Know that the right hand can always come down to the ground. Inhale and exhale here. Well, let's start to walk the hands forward to the inside of the front foot. Let's heel toe that front foot out into our lizard lunge. Heel in, toe out. Back knee stays down onto the mat. Let's just rock side to side here, opening up the hips a little bit more. Hands again can be on blocks, or you can come down to your forearms. Make sure the back toes are tucked. Let's pick up that back knee. With a little bit of momentum, bending through the back knee, let's bring that back foot up to the top of the mat, both heels in, both toes out, Malasana Yoga Squat. So the seat can always rest on a block or a bolster. You can always take a towel or roll your mat underneath your heels if they're lifting. Keep squeezing into the glutes to press the knees towards the pinky toes. Use your elbows as well to help you out there. Hands draw to heart center in our prayer pose. Our prayer little mudra, our Ujjayi mudra. One more breath in. One more exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, start to straighten out the legs. Hands come down to the ground. Heel toe the feet so they're parallel to the longer edges of the mat. Take them about fist or hip distance apart. Let's take a ragdoll forward fold, opposite hand to opposite elbow. Let's just sway side to side here. Now you can hang out like this if this feels good, or we can work on some halfway lifts, again working through, undulating through the spine. Let's breathe in, halfway lift, maybe straighten out the legs a bit, take the hands up towards the shins, maybe up to the quads. As you exhale, round, let everything soften. Let's breathe in, straighten out that spine, gaze stays down, think about the head, think about the head as one long extension of the spine all the way down to the tailbone. Inhale, exhale, round, come down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift, your version, keep reaching the tail back, reaching the crown of the head forward. Exhale to release. Keeping the bend of the knees, let's start to curl up the length of the spine until we stand. Coming up one vertebrae at a time, head comes up last. Let's breathe in and reach the arms up, tall mountain. Exhale, right hand down, left arm sweeps up, side bend to the right. Breathing in, back up, tall mountain. Exhale, second side, over to the left. Left hand down, right arm sweeps up. Let's do that one more time on each side. Breathing in, tall mountain. Exhale to the right, side bend. Inhale back to center, and exhale to the left. Let's inhale back to center. Exhale, bend the knees, send the weight into the heels, chair pose. Can you see the toes? Can you take the seat a little bit further back behind you? Inhale, exhale, forward fold all the way down. Let's breathe in, halfway lift, whatever that looks like for you. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back. Take the left knee down to the ground one more time. Breathe in, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, open the chest to the right, left arm comes forward, right arm comes back. Keep drawing the right hip back, keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Inhale. Exhale to reverse, right arm comes down, left arm sweeps up overhead. Make sure that back hand is nice and gentle. Can you kind of tap the fingers lightly on the back leg? Inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down, right arm sweeps up. So left hand to the inside of the front leg, front foot. Now you can stay down here with the back leg on the ground, or you can lift it up into our twisted lunge. Our easy twist is what it's called, but we know it's really not that easy. No, the bottom hand can always be on a block. Inhale. Exhale, both hands come down, right hand comes down. Step back to your plank. One inhale, one exhale here, just one breath cycle. And on your next exhale, let's come all the way down to the belly. 3 baby cobras when you get there. Breathing in, small baby cobra, reach the tailbone back, squeeze the seat. Exhale, coming back down. Inhale to lift, make sure the toes are pointing back, plant them down. Exhale, lower. One more time and we hold. Inhaling. Now you can always take the hands off the ground here, draw the elbows into the rib cage, or you can interlace the hands behind the back, maybe lift the fists away from the seat. You can keep the toes on the ground if this is enough, or you can start to lift the legs. Keep the gaze down to the ground. Think about reaching through the crown of the head, reaching through the toes. It's more about length than height here. Inhale. Exhale, release everything down. Inhale, push yourself up through a tabletop position. Exhale, find your way into a downward facing dog. Find any movement that you need. Option for stillness as well. 3 breaths here before we come to the second side. Is there anywhere in this practice where you can become more fluid? Is there anywhere in your life where you need less rigidity? One more breath. Inhale, let's reach the left leg up towards the sky. Keep the leg straight, keep the hips squared. Just for a moment, can you get the right heel a little bit closer to the ground? Inhale. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest, step the foot through the hands, back knee comes down, runner's lunge. So again, hands can be on blocks here. Let's keep it low for a moment just to find our balance. And on your next inhale, let's sweep the arms up, low lunge, biceps by ears. Keep tucking the tailbone down, keep squeezing the seat. Inhale. Exhale, left hand comes to the knee. Keep the right arm up. Maybe sink a little bit lower into your low lunge. Now let's take our side body stretch. Know that the left hand can always come down beside you. Inhale. Exhale, let's start to walk the hands around the front foot and then bringing them to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe that foot out, making the stance a little wider. Heel and toe out, lizard lunge. You can always come down to the forearms here or take the hands to blocks. Know that we're not here long. Maybe just wiggle out side to side. Let's start to tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Find that momentum, stepping the right foot forward, malasana, heels and toes out, yoga squat, top of the mat. Again, hands come to heart center. Press the elbows towards the knees and use the seat to press the knees back towards the toes. Let's take one inhale, one exhale in stillness. On your next inhale, left hand comes down, right arm sweeps up. Hold it here just for a few moments. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Inhale, second side, right hand down, left arm sweeps up. Open up the chest towards the ceiling. Is there anywhere you can be more expansive here? Inhale. Exhale, hands come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, start to lift the hips forward, fold, heel to the feet in, hip distance apart. Ragdoll fold, maybe swaying out the knees side to side. Option for hands to come to elbows. Any movement you need here, find it, find what feels good. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the hands down to come up, chair pose. Sink the weight back into the heels. Know that the hands can always come through heart center or elbows can bend, whatever feels good for you. We'll hold it here statically just for one breath in and one exhale. Then take the hands towards the tops of the legs, so towards the quads. If this doesn't feel good for the back, I'd recommend not trying it, maybe coming down into our traditional cat and cow. Let's breathe in, come into our cow arch through the spine, lift the tailbone up. Exhale to round, draw the tummy in, get a little bit more of a posterior pelvic tilt here. Inhale, anterior pelvic tilt, reaching the tailbone back, slight arch through the back body. And then reverse that, draw the tummy in. Let's do a few more times like that. So it's our chair, cat and cows here. And again, if that doesn't feel good, you can come down into traditional cat and cows or just hold your chair pose. Well, one more round. I'll meet you back in chair pose. Arms come up, or they can come wherever feels good. Inhale, exhale to stand. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, twist. Left arm forward, right arm back. Take the torso, the chest towards the right side of the room. Try to keep the hips squared. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale, back to center, arms sweep up. Exhale, twist, left side, left arm back, right arm forward. Really notice if you're opening up the hips towards the left, square them to the top of the mat as much as you can. Inhale and exhale. Inhale one more time, tall mountain, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold, bend at the knees if you need. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. This time, right foot steps back, low lunge. Left leg stays in front. Right away, let's sweep the arms down and up, Anjaneyasana. Really tuck the tailbone down. So notice the difference when the tail is not tucked and when you're arching through the back. Try to flatten that out as much as possible. Inhale here. Exhale, twist, opening the chest towards the left side of the room. Spread wide through the fingertips. Keep them light as you reverse this, taking the left hand down, right arm sweeps up. If this is too much, you can always do a little baby version or just hold the twist. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, top arm comes down to the inside of the front foot. Reach the left arm up. Option to keep the toes tucked and the knee on the ground, or you can lift the back knee off the ground. Easy twist, twisted lunge. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, hand comes back down. Let's step back into our plank pose. Option for a chaturanga, vinyasa, or to come back into downward dog. Breathing in to shift forward. Exhale all the way down. Let's breathe in, halfway lift. Float the hands off the ground. Exhale to hold. Inhale, interlace the hands behind the back the more unusual way. Open up the chest. Maybe float the feet off the ground. Inhale to get a little bit longer. Exhale to squeeze everything a little tighter. One more inhale. Exhale, release everything back down. Hands come beside the rib cage. Press your way up through tabletop position, meeting me in downward facing dog. Final one of this practice. Pedal out the feet. Find movement or find stillness. What is calling to you in this moment? 3 breaths here. Inhale, come back to our tabletop position. Find a comfortable seated position. Let's take the hands just to rest on top of the legs here. Let's breathe in, arch through the back, seated cat and cow. Lift the gaze, expand the heart. Exhale, round through the back, draw the tummy in. Inhale, breathe in, arch through the back, reach the tailbone back, the chest up. Exhale to reverse, draw the tummy in. Now you can keep going like that, or you can draw little circles here with the spine shifting forward and back, and then going the opposite way. So lots of focus into the back, into the spine today. And then let's come up from there, stack the shoulders over top of the seat. Let's just rest the hands onto the legs. Shut off the eyes. Take a few rolls of the shoulders, maybe forward a few times, and then back a few times. Take any final movements here that you need. Know that you can always come into a laying down Shavasana, or you can stay seated into a seated meditative state. I'd recommend staying here as long as you can today. Really honor that. Even if it's for just 1 extra minute, it can make a world of difference. Notice any differences from the beginning of class to the end of class. Notice what came up for you during this practice. Where did your thoughts go? And even if this felt like a very challenging, maybe a slightly faster paced class, know that just because it's challenging doesn't mean that we need to judge those things. What happened, happened. We can just leave it on the mat and continue with our day, knowing that we devoted this time for ourselves, for our bodies, for our minds, and really for our broader self-care. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.